Hey, I just wanted to quickly capture this video blog with the last few days I've been grappling with a trigger that I had happen, and as I'm working towards my new goal, I can feel a disconnect going on in my way of thinking, and the negative beliefs and the limitations that I have set on myself from the past has been coming back mentally for me. And I just wanted to capture one of the ways that I got through this in the last couple of days, and I've got a couple of people to credit while I was working through this process. And one of the things for me has been, you might have heard of her by now, I hope you have. Her work is absolutely amazing, and that's Brené Brown. And one of the things that I do love about her work is just the rawness and the openness with it. And when I find myself in the moment when I'm really trying to grapple with the limitations and stuff within my head, or there's someone that's done a trigger in with me as I'm growing and developing, heading towards where I'm going, she talks about writing that shitty first draft, that draft where you don't want people to be reading it. And for me, when I had a trigger happening and I'm like, holy shit, I started self-doubting and these other components that came into my head, the first thing I had to do was I had to acknowledge that it was going on. And for me, one of the ways that I do acknowledging the thing is just getting sometimes these thoughts and ideas out of my head, and I write them down in a shitty first draft. And I have a strategy and a technique I've developed for doing that, and I can do it anywhere on wherever I am, whether I'm handwriting, dictating, using the computer for typing, whatever. I have different ways of capturing this information, and acknowledging it going on is the first thing that I started to do, is to identify within myself. When I moved past that, and I'm like, you know what, I need to give myself some compassion. It's happened, it's there, I am going towards my goal, I'm going to hit limitations, I'm going to find people that are going to push me back, try and hold me where I am. That's not them, that's me. And I need to find different ways and strategies to work through that. And so the next thing I'm doing is I'm breathing. I need to take back control of my mind, and I'm using different breathing techniques, and I use them a lot in multiple different situations. Because A is for airway, B is for breathing, C is for circulation, if anyone's done their basic life support. And the thing is, when we take back our breathing, when we know our breathing's back under control, we have a sense of control again, and we've regained ourselves. And I hope you went through that exercise just then with me. Once I gain back that control, that thought for myself, it's just, I feel so much better. So I breathe through that when I'm having those negative thoughts, and I've acknowledged with what's going on. I am then going into, I'm needing to release and reframe. So if it's an event, this could be going either way for me. I might need to reframe what's going on, and then I can release the negativity that I've either associated with it, or I need to go back and learn how to approach this differently, because obviously the way that I delivered it wasn't effective. And if it's a negative thought that I'm personally holding on to in this situation, I need to release it. I need to let it go. If it's telling me that I can't do this, or I'm already failed, or I've had multiple attempts at this, so why is now going to be different? Once I've acknowledged that thought, I've breathed through that thought, and I'm like, I can just release it, however that is. Sometimes it's balloons pulling it away. I can let it attach to the clouds as it's going through up there. There are different ways for me that I can release that. And then this is the one that, it was probably one of the more hardest things for me when I started looking at this technique, and I've actually talked through the technique here for, and I'll acknowledge that person very, very shortly, is once we release that, we have a void in our thoughts and our thinking, and our brain tries to go back there. And what I found was that it would then try and instill something else, and I had to take control of it at that point. And it was through this technique that I learned through someone else, and I was like, the times that I don't do this is when it doesn't work, and then I'd get upset because it didn't work. And I've got to put a new thought back in there, and I have to put in positive affirmations. And I find I've got a list of affirmations now that initially I thought affirmations and getting involved into those affirmations and feeling and experiencing them, people would give me theirs, or I would do research online, and I'd go, oh, this one sounds really great, and it wasn't actually aligned with my direction and my purpose for where I'm going. And there's nothing wrong with that particular affirmation, but is it applicable to what you're wanting to do now? Now, if it's somewhere where you want to go, you're going to have greater success when you try to take that on. So if you can see, for me, one of my default affirmations is every day in every way, I'm getting stronger and stronger. And that is something that I am constantly mentally doing, and I associate and I feel and I see things of how I'm getting stronger from this event and the experience that I'm doing and what I've had to learn from this experience. And that affirmation, I cement that in, and I feel it and I embrace it as I'm going through, and that then helps to change what's going on in my mind. And that technique there was originally I learned it from it was phrased differently, and that was from Mark Divine, and I learned that a long time ago. But Jim Quick said it to me in this other training that I was doing, and I just went, wow, that works for me. It's called the ABRA Technique, and that is something that if you have the time to think about, so it's acknowledging and getting it down onto paper if that's what you need to do. Sometimes we need to do that in any thing that's going on around us, and I certainly have used it recently over the course of the weekend while I was working through stuff, and I was grappling mentally moving forward because I'm making big fundamental shifts in where I'm going and what I'm doing and what I want to achieve and how I want to impact. And for me to do that, mentally I could feel my mind wanting to pull me back, and there were people that were going on that were causing triggers, and so I had to get that shit out of my head and I had to put it onto paper. Then I've had to use breathing to get myself back under control because I could feel the emotions, the anxiety, everything else, and instead of lashing out at people and instead of getting angry with my people that I love around me and stuff like that, I had to breathe. I had to take control. I had to come back into the moment. Then I've got to give myself permission to release it. I'm reframing it. I can look at it from multiple different perspectives. I can see what I've got to learn, and then I've got to release it. That was huge for me. And then I'm in that phase now of reaffirming other affirmations back into my head about the things that will get me closer to where I want to go and where I want to be, and heading me in that direction as I'm relating my stuff that I've done in the past to where I'm going now in the future. And that is incredibly important. So I'd love to hear what you guys think about that. I'd love to hear what affirmations you use. Pop them in the comments below. Pop them up onto the Facebook page if you've got an opportunity, which is mattsteer22 on the Facebook. So Facebook, whatever it is, .com/mattsteer22. You'll get some more information there, and I look forward and I hope to see you guys out and about when I'm moving around different places. I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.